Therapy isn't enough. You're going to need this, okay? Let me tell you. Unpopular opinion. Not every single person in the world is ready for therapy. I know. I know. As somebody that's like, oh yes, go to therapy. Try therapy. Sometimes we're not in a place to receive. What do I mean by that? Talking isn't always transformation. Sometimes we need to be in a place to where we can hear. Hearing and understanding is transformation. And the reason why I say that is because I've now gone to therapy a couple times, right? Because we do all need therapy, but it doesn't mean that you need it right this second. We don't need therapy in every single season. Sometimes we need to be in a space where we are experiencing different things so we can understand the value of having that outside look. If you're going to a therapist and they're telling you everything you're doing is right, you need to cut that today. No, okay, not today, okay, but you need to cut that because not every single thing we do is right. And sometimes when we go to a therapist, we tell the therapist or whoever we're talking to the story or different things in a way that makes us look better. And it's not like we're doing it in a sinister way. That's just something that we as humans do. And I know it because I've done it. When I went to therapy, I was in a really, really raw time. So everything I was saying I was almost talking about myself worse than I was. But it was helpful to me because then even my therapist could see okay, you're being a little bit hard on yourself, but she was still able to help me with different things like, hey, okay, well, I can see how you think that. So here's how we're going to adjust this, this, and this. But if you're not in a season to receive yet, you're either one, going to shut down, two, not going to tell enough to fulfill the needs of you improving, or three, you're going to go and you're not going to go back. And the reason why is because you've never heard something like that before. When people have never heard that they are either not perfect or whenever they hear none of this is what you thought it was when you first came, it's difficult. And sometimes we're not ready to do that. In a culture where hustle and grind is important, you have to know also how to be vulnerable. Vulnerability does not mean that you're weak in any way. It doesn't mean that. So I'm not saying that you have to go to therapy or you need to start going to therapy when you feel weak, when you feel at your lowest. I'm saying sometimes we need to go to therapy and seek outside help from other people that we trust, that we know have good intentions for us. Sometimes we need to go to those people in our high place and ask them, hey, okay, I'm feeling good now, but what are some things that I could work on? Because nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to hear that they suck or they're doing dumb things whenever they are in a low place. That's going to make you never want to ask for anybody's opinion again, especially if you didn't ask for the opinion and they tell you. So that's why I say choose different times where you know that you can be receptive. It is absolutely okay to have a conversation with somebody and be like, you know what? Okay, I can understand that. And make sure that you validate what they're saying to you, but you can also say, I might not be in a place to receive that right now, but I do appreciate that. And the reason why I say that is sometimes you're going to get told off in life. I've been told off before. It doesn't mean you have to say that, right? But I've been told off before and I was thinking dang, okay, you're right. I was kind of messing that up. And whenever you're in a place of being able to say that, you're going to feel a lot more free. But I've also been that person when somebody's told me something and I'm like, me? Not me. And I took what they said to heart, but I didn't take it to mind. I didn't take it to action because they were right. And that's what I mean by being ready. If you are ready for a change, that's when you go. When you're not ready to change, but you know you need to, that's when you go. When you're feeling spectacular about yourself, but you know there's some different things that you need to adjust or that you'd like to change or do better on, that's when you go. Because therapy becomes passive without action. If you plan on going to therapy and not doing a single thing after that, then you're wasting time and money. That's just real talk. I'm just saying, if you go to therapy, or if you go to your friends, you go to your bestie, you go to your homeboy, you go to your homegirl, and you ask, hey, what can I do better on? And I have no intentions of actually knowing, then you screwed yourself. You just wasted time. Yes, I know. I know it's not the nice way of saying it, but it's very true. And that's the other thing. We can't expect things to always come nicely. It doesn't matter how nice somebody says something. If we don't like what they're saying, no matter how kind, we're not going to like it. And that's just how things go. But whenever you are in a place of understanding, a place of receiving, then you realize, you know what, even if I don't like how this person says it, maybe there is some truth to this. Sometimes we throw away what people say when they're upset. We can't monitor what other people say to us or how they say it to us, But what we can do is take a look at what's true and what's maybe not true. Just because somebody says something doesn't mean it's true. But sometimes there is a level of truth to different things. And we have to really take a look at ourselves and see, is that for real? Because I remember the first time I got called bossy, I was like, oh, no way, you are not talking about me. And then I realized I just came from being like, okay, so what you need to do is this and this and this and this and this and this. That was not going to work. And that's not how I want to come off because I couldn't stand bossy people. And that's the other thing. The things that we don't like are a lot of times the things that we actually do. Yeah, I know. I'm a culprit. I know. Like, seriously. If you don't like somebody that's lying, if you don't like a liar, chances are you've either had a history of lying before and you don't want to do it anymore, or you're currently lying and you don't like that reflection of yourself. Now, that may not be true, but a lot of times it is. I used to not like people that came off as jealous. Like, dang, like you're low-key hating on me. But I know a hater because I've been a hater. And that's the thing. Whenever you go to therapy or whenever you seek improvement, then you start to see different things in yourself. And so whenever you come in contact with somebody that has those same traits, you understand like, you know what? Dang, I can understand why you're like that. It doesn't pardon it. It doesn't invalidate your feelings about the situation. But what it does do is put into perspective that people are not perfect. But we can understand each other. That's called having empathy. And the reason why empathy is so important is because whenever I can say, I understand, then I know later on, hey, I didn't like it when this person did this. So if I can put myself in those shoes, then I know this is not what I want to put out. My mom was telling me something the other day I thought was pretty good. I don't even know if I really reflected her that I thought it was pretty good. I think I low-key spaced out, but I thought about it later. Let me just give you an example, okay? You have a cup in your hand, a mug, a cup, whatever it is, right? So you're holding it and somebody knocks it out of your hand. So whatever juice or coffee, milk, whatever you thought in your head, whatever is in there is going to spill out. And the reason why this was so profound to me, what she was sharing with me, is because what she said was, what's going to spill out? Oh, so now let's think about ourselves as the pot. If we're the pot and somebody pushes us and our contents spill out, what's going to spill out? Is it going to be anger? Is it going to be sadness? Is it going to be, overcompensation for the fact that you got pushed over? What is it going to be? And if you see some things in that pot, in that container that spilled out that you don't like, pick those things up and take a look at them and see, you know what? I wonder how I can work on this. And if you have the support system that you feel will actually help you with that, ask them, hey, have you noticed this? Okay, well, how do you think I can work on that? And if you don't have that, or even if you do, you can still seek a therapist and say, you know what? Hey, these are blah, blah, blah that I want to work on. How do you think that I can healthily do that and maintain my relationships? Or how can I fix this? Did you know movement-based therapy improves mental health over 40%? Now, I know you're like, that's not over 50, but 40 is a heck of a lot when you're coming from a low number. When you're coming from a low. When you're not on a high, 40% is a lot. So, don't get caught in the riffraff. Even if you're not ready for therapy, or even if you are participating in therapy, or, sharing with your friends, another good thing to do is work the flip out. The reason why I say that is because it makes your body happy. And not only does it make your body happy, but you're also completing something. And whenever we complete something, we reward ourselves in our minds like, okay, done, finished. That felt good. You can also try breath work. You can also try relationship with a higher power. I personally believe in God. I don't always need to talk to another person necessarily. Sometimes I personally pray about it. Or even, just closing your eyes. It doesn't even mean that you're saying words. Sometimes it's just closing your eyes and just thinking about things. But what I want to know in the comments is, what physical activity or just general activity, whether it's arts and crafts, what activity helps you heal? I want to know in the comments. And as a matter of fact, I might try some of these, so give me something good. And if nobody's told you, I'm proud of you.